My name is Mike Vigneault. I'm the Executive Director of CAMI, the Council for Anglophone Magdalen Islanders. So we're going to Entry Island. We're going to spend the day there. We're on board the Ivan Quinn, the only link for passenger ferries other than the tour boats. And it's the only link really to bring equipment and cars and whatever else the folks on Entry Island need. We're at the wharf on Entry Island, and this is, as you can see, every time the ferry gets alongside or leaves in the evening, it's a pretty popular spot. Everybody gets, it's really the link to the rest of the islands. Lots of visitors this year, I find.
Yeah, they started coming early. We have very, very much respect for our veterans because every family on the island had people that left to go, join the Royal Rifles of Canada. Some was in the Navy, some in the Army, some in the Air Force. They all farmed. Each one of them had their own animals, like cows and pigs and horses and chickens and sheep. Sheep was a big thing too back here on Entry. That's why we got the nickname from the main island. It was always called Ram Island because we had sheep here.
Particularity with the English-speaking community here is being in a linguistic minority situation. It adds a layer of challenges, I suppose. And then when we look more closely at the part of the English-speaking community that lives on Entry Island, then it's even more evident because of the physical separation from the rest of the archipelago.
90% of us are seniors, are hang-oners that we don't want to let go of our island. It's so quiet, it's so peaceful. Like we go to bed at night, we don't lock our doors. Once you go to school and get a good education, like what they're trained for, there's no jobs here for that. So unless you're bilingual, you have a better chance on the main island to get work. But here on Entry, it's nothing other than fishing.
I'm good. How are you? Nice to see you again.
Same here.
So how are things?
Good. The medical service is good. We have a nurse that's here 24/7. She's on call 24/7. During fishing time, we have about 95 to 100 people. And then once fishing's done, they go back to either PEI or wherever they come from.
Hello, Pauline.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Great to see you again.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
How are things?
Oh, not too bad. Well, for sure, we always have issue. Is either on the boat, us here. I know over there they have to live with the weather, but you can go from A to B at the weather, even though the weather is bad or not. But here we have to go by boat. We have no choice. If we don't have the boat coming, and we usually have a good service with the boat and stuff. Like last year in September, it was stopped there for 2-3 months, but it was hard because, at that time of the year, everybody's got their boats up hauled up, and we, there was no boat in the water. We always think of it because of the population being older. We always think about sickness.
Tourism in the summertime picks up. We're talking probably on average about 6,000 visitors a year, mostly between June and September, that go and visit the island.
for them coming so much, but it does bother us that all these people are coming to our island. They use all the facilities that we have to offer, like, but they go back and they leave no money here. Like, we've been after the council and different parts of the government for years to charge a toll. It doesn't have to be $100 a toll, like just to pay $1 a head to come and visit the island and walk through our fields and pick the strawberries and whatnot. And that money that's collected can be donated to our church.
We needed toilets on Entry Island. But see, right now, in May, they told us, in April, they told us they had over $100,000. Okay, but we're in June now, and the toilets has been talked about, but it's not supposed to be put in until September. But, like, I know the tourists has the museum to go down, but I mean, we want something else, but, because people comes into my store and say, can I use your bathroom? I mean, this is my own bathroom. I can't let everybody use my bathroom and me cleaning it all the time. Like, it's nonsense.
To have to leave this peaceful environment is very scary.
Once the population starts going down, I'm scared of what's going to happen to the island. Like, in the winter, we're only 33 people. So as the population keeps getting smaller and smaller, what the Quebec government could say, we're shutting down hydro, we're not giving you your nurse, then what's the people going to do? They're going to have to leave.
So the fish plant is the main economic factor, driving factor of the English-speaking community here in Gros Îles. It employs over 100 people, in addition to the fishermen and the helpers. It's really the heart of economics in the English-speaking community of the Magdalen Islands. Hey, Steve.
Hi there, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. Long time no see.
Long time no see indeed. How are things?
Good, good. Weather turned around for the better?
Yeah, it started out pretty crappy.
Oh, gee, we had a rough first couple of weeks there. Yeah. I've been fishing on my own now for, I think, close to 20 years, and catches have doubled, even tripled since I started. I can remember when my father fished, helpers were fighting for a place to fish. Now it's opposite, captains are fighting to find workers. When I built the boat 8 years ago, boat and motor and electronics cost me $350,000. And now just the motor last year was $200,000. The price on everything go crazy. Now a new boat is $1 million. The catches are staying, the last couple of years, catches coming up a bit. Now they seem to level off, and it's good, we can't complain. Compared to 10 years ago, the catches are way higher. Fishing is more expensive, but catches are good.
The season this current year started on the 5th of May and it's going to finish on the 5th of July. It's a 9-week season, and depending on what date you start in May, that's when you will finish in July, kind of the 9 weeks. But we probably start working here sometime in April to get things ready. There's a certain amount of preparation to be done here to get all your facilities ready and everything. 100, 105, in that range, depending on the situation. But we do have within that amount 25 foreign workers.
Well, here, and this one here and that one beside these two, it's 600,000, like the three of them here on this part, and 600,000 on the other part, so it's 1.2 million pounds. We're sending them to Nova Scotia and Maine.
We do have seniors, men. We have some men, but there's not as many as the women. The many women are more prevalent, I would say. But we do have people here from other communities. We have people from way up on the other end of the island in Amherst, as well as Grand Entry and in between. Fishermen is investing in this organization. They're catching the lobsters. They're investing in this company. It's a co-op, but it's also a different type of co-op, I think, because they want to be not owner necessarily, they think they're wrong, but that's not the way it is here. You're investing in your own cooperative. Normally we have around 90, 80, between 85 and 90 fishermen normally. This community relies on this particular fishery to be able to enhance their lives in any direction you want to go. I mean, they do fish other species like halibut, and crab is becoming more prevalent here as well as some of the younger folks. But lobster is the bigger fishery. Here, the young people coming out of high school, that's the first thing they think about. I'm going fishing. Or even prior to that sometimes, you know. And then when they get working with their father or uncle or whoever they have, or even somebody, doesn't matter, they acquire a certain experience, and then after that they want to have their own equipment. So as these equipments come for sale, the younger people want to embark on their own business and do their own fishery, and that is the way it is. We've got a lot of younger people here, fishermen now.
Lots of customers.
Yeah, it's, I would say we have more this year than we would have had in previous years for this time. For June, it's been really good. A lot of English tourists this year.
We have more and more businesses that open and more to offer to visitors to come to the East. And I think it's getting better. I've seen an improvement just in the past 3 summers of more and more people coming earlier and sometimes later in the summer and even into the fall.
My mother works here, my aunt works here, my daughter-in-law works here.
Family affair.
It's a family affair. My partner does the delivery service. My cook is my cousin, so we're really a family business. We have a pretty good life. Like, we don't see, in our community, we don't see a lot of poverty. You know, there's lots of work. People are all able to get out and go to work. Seasonal work, you know, it's not all year round work, but a lot of seasonal work. But I feel like, you know, we live good.
Basically, one of the main mandate of CAMI is remembering the place of the English-speaking Magdalene Islanders in the military conflicts of the 20th century. So we're talking mostly First and Second World War. The Magdalene Islanders, both from the French and the English side, actually participated in both wars. We're talking about 50 Magdalene Islanders for the First War and about 200 for the Second. The reason why it's CAMI that took the mandate of talking about the wars and remembering these men is mainly because it was mostly English Magdalene Islanders, English-speaking Magdalene Islanders, who participated. Of the 200 that joined the forces, the Canadian Armed Forces for the Second World War, about 75% were English, from the English-speaking community, which represented at the time about 10% of the population. So it's quite a lot. We still feel like it's extremely personal. We still feel this extreme, like this really strong sense of heritage, of history, of culture. We are really, really strongly linked to that history and that shared heritage.
So CAMI was founded in 1987 by and for community members. Mostly around issues of access to services in the English language, in terms of education, legal, and health. So it depends on the season. We have seasonal employees in the summer to look after our museums as tour guides, but full-time staff were 5.
when you're a leader, you have to make difficult decisions, and sometimes you have to shed light on things that nobody really wants to shed light on. You have to stand up and take, you have to take position on things and decisions, and not everybody likes them. So like, that's not easy to do in a small community.
Level of education that could be better. It's not that bad. It's improving over the years, but the services for education is lacking on the islands. So that turns off a lot of students from pursuing anything past high school.
Well, yes, it's declining, definitely. I encourage people to have children. I mean, in the school, like when I was here years ago, I used to be commissioner of the school board a long time ago, and I think we had something like 105 children in the school. Nowadays, I don't know, I hope we have 30, I'm not sure. 35 would be, stretching it a smidge.
Fishing is omnipresent in Rose Hill, and it's part of everyday life. So a lot of young men and women will get into the fishing industry, whether it's with their family or others, and they'll get into the industry oftentimes at a very young age. It's good paying jobs, it's hard work, it's very lucrative now it is. So it brings different issues when you have a situation of low education levels, high levels of income. Can bring a lot of challenges on the social side. Yeah. Because the English-speaking community has been on the islands as long as the French-speaking community, but it's such a small numbers, and those numbers get smaller every year because people are more bilingual. There's a bit of a fear that the culture that has been here for generations will eventually be lost. Bill 96 came into effect just recently, and it's a fear, and there's a sense, and it's my opinion, but there's a sense that some of the elements of the bill, of the law, is interpreted differently in different places. It doesn't seem to be to the advantage or for the benefit of the English-speaking community. It's almost like preserving French would necessitate negating English, and it's a bit of a sentiment around here. I think it will be better 10 years from now than it was 10 years ago. But it's, again, I go back to the word perseverance. It's going to need a lot of hard work. It's going to need a lot of perseverance and stubborn perseverance.
It takes planning. This would have to be done more on a municipal level, and you'd have to have people that would be hired, like, somebody with long-term vision, exactly, in order to be able to, you got to sit down with the committee and say, what is our vision for the next 10 years? What do you feel, and how can we plan this, and how are we going to structure this, and who's going to be in charge, and who can we get to be somebody that wants to invest? You've got to get investors to do these kinds of things, and you've got to be able to show this investor the potential is there.
They're at the crossroad. There needs to be some engagement. Everybody needs to take their turn, and it's time for some of the younger people to step up and take their place and own their community, and we need people to stand up and lead.
But I think there's enough talent, there's enough entrepreneurship spirit in this community to start something good that will stay for years and years.
We are in New Carlisle, a small town on the Gaspé coast, and we're here to celebrate Canada Day. Well, I think it's been a tradition for so long. It gives us another part of who we are. We reconnect with our roots, our values. why we are Canadians, what's important to us, because that's what Canada Day is. It's a reminder of what is important to us.
The English-speaking peoples that came here, it wasn't one specific event, but rather a series of events and from diverse places. So Scotland, Ireland, the British Isles, America, and over a period of many decades that most of the ancestors of the English-speaking communities along the coast arrived. Sort of that period from conquest, the 1760s, 1770s, all the way through into the 1820s and 30s. We had this sort of waves of migration of different English-speaking peoples.
So this morning we're going to head out down to the river right in front of the lodge. So that's our home pool. So we're going to go swing a couple flies and see if there's any traveling salmon. We also have a pool down below here at the bottom of this island. It's called Horse Island. And just about 500, 600 meters below here is the tip of the island. So that's where the river splits in two. So all of the fish that are traveling pass through that point, and we own that pool as well. Sorry. The fishing season itself is a little bit tougher. It's not the best year for Atlantic salmon, low numbers and low water. But the fact that we are offering striped bass really kind of balances that, as well as the sea run brook trout. And the lodge program itself, so whether that be like the food and bev program or just the hospitality and the comfort, the everything around it, people are really, really happy with the products. Some private camps on the river that create a lot of jobs, and the society, the museum, the fly shop, kind of everything around it. So it's a really important river for fly fishing in general and for our village as well. But I think it's a really big challenge to decide, like, okay, tomorrow I'm just gonna start my own business and hopefully it supports me. And if you have a family, and it's a huge risk. So I think that it is a challenge to be able to take that risk. Having the support of the community, being like our chosen community, so our friends and our family, as well as the larger community, so the folks around Cascapédia St. Jules or even around the Baie des Chaleurs, I think the support of those people was really, really important in our success. Personally, the most important thing for me being here is community, and it is contributing to that community, because it has given me so much growing up, and it has really played a vital part in who I am and becoming who I am. And I think that could be the case for many other people, in the young stages of their life. So for me, it's really important that I'm contributing to that community, and I'm doing good, and I'm doing well, and I'm adding to the community.
Churches, yes, they're closing all over, and it's just a different way of thinking. It's a different mindset that we've developed, but it's a loss. And it's not just because, again, about religion. It is that community spirit that we had working together. We had big church suppers here, and it was a reason for everybody to gather and have fun. We had St. Patrick's that we used to have like 400 people gather. It was to raise money for the church, but it was about community spirit. It was the building in the place. It stood tall, it stood proud. It was part of who we were, of this community. It's a symbol of loss. We are at the St. Andrew's Anglican Church in New Carlisle this morning. We're coming to a service here. Like many communities on the coast, we're facing the decline of people going to church. The young people are not going like they used to. It's mostly an elderly congregation.
Yes, there's been a decline in church attendance that reflects what's going on in kind of the church at large. And certainly after COVID, it was kind of intensified, although now there are some people who are returning to church, finding that they're able to come again. Young people as well as old people being isolated, maybe spending a lot of time alone on their phones or something like this, and so I think a big challenge is to bring people together and give them a sense of hope and community.
Good morning, Mary. Welcome to the Baie des Chalets Military Museum.
Good morning, Tom. And how are you?
I'm well.
What are we doing here this morning?
This morning we're having an open house.
Okay.
It's in conjunction with the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War. Gaspé Coast generally, in the First and Second World War, the enrollment rates, the volunteerism rates were much higher than was found generally across Canada. And it's not necessarily because of patriotic reasons or that the people here were more war hungry or anything like that. I think a lot of it has to do with economics. In both of those periods, the First and the Second World War, Gaspé Coast, times were tough. Poverty was a real thing. It wasn't just a vague concept. But here in New Richmond, that's 52 young men. Imagine 52 young men, roughly between the ages of 18 and 24, away at war. And in this instance, the Hong Kong guys who ended up, well, out of that 52, there were 13 that were killed. The rest spent 44 months as prisoners of war. So they came back transformed from that, and hence our community was transformed as well.
It is very important. There are so many that don't realize that it's here, that don't know our history. And to continue on, we must not forget what happened. We must not forget our history, and especially that part of our history. They fought for Canada. They left here to fight for their home and country. We can't forget that. They sacrificed their lives.
Charles Cochran. Edgar and Lawrence Carroll. Philip Doddridge, placed by Nancy Doddridge. Dave Doherty. Bernard Kondo.
CASA has been working with the English-speaking community for 50 years now. Initially as an advocacy organization meant to stand up for the rights of English speakers. Over time, we've morphed into an organization that builds community, bringing together the communities from one end of the coast to the other. The needs are revolving from just basic services and health and social services to the need to bring the community together more, to be more cohesive in our approach so that we are 1/3 or one of the 3 communities here on the coast. When I was born in 1975, there was approximately 30,000 English speakers in the coast. And today we know that there's about 8,500. And this has happened over time in several different waves. In the late 70s, early 80s, around some of the political turmoil that was happening at the time, a lot of people decided that they would be better in an English-speaking environment as they moved to Ontario or out west. Our youth tend to leave to go away to get post-secondary education, to go away to experience life, to see new things, go away and get work experience, and sometimes they don't make their way back. we do have less educational attainment than the broader community. And I always like to say we share many of the same challenges as the broader community, but they tend to be more acute. So high unemployment, well, the unemployment rates for English speakers are even higher. Isolation, aging, we have an older population than the broader community. And so all of the challenges that go along with that. We know as people get older, they tend to be more isolated, and it's compounded for English speakers in that we've had such an outflow of English speakers over time. A lot of the seniors and the older people that are left here just don't have families, they've moved away.
Hi, Mary. How are you?
Nice to see you. Good. You're keeping busy?
Always. It started in 1995, and the reason was to create a safe place for Anglophone families to gather and grow and learn.
So come see our kitchen, Mary.
The mission is for families to strive, inspire and strive for a better quality of life. We set out a set of personal values and then the organizational values like in innovation, inclusivity, non-judgmental, learning, caring, communication, health, encouragement. And those values have seen us through many, many years, but they were created and that's the way we treat everybody. So we have early childhood, youth, food security, literacy, seniors, and family support. Our membership last year, I think in our annual report, was 482, representing 176 families. We're about 10 employees now. We're really big on literacy. The library, but we have a Born to Read program. It's one of our oldest programs. We create Born to Read bags with important material. Those young children who started in Munchkin Mansion Play School now have their own children, and they come back too. So the impact, we never really know what the impact is, but we know that it's breaks social isolation. There's a support network that is created among families, among the community. It's basically created a sense of belonging for people who maybe were lost.
For each other, together we're stronger.
To have a nice community and a sense of belonging, everybody has to feel that we're all part of it. Rich, poor, young, old, working, not working, that everybody has a place. And I think when they come here, they realize that, they're part of something a little bit bigger.
We are at the Shigawak Music Festival this afternoon.
Was it always like this?
It was an agricultural fair and a music festival that takes place every year here in Shigawak. It's a big event, one of the biggest events on the coast.
It's a great event. It brings in agriculture and combines it with music. We have the horses, the horse hauls, we have the gymkhanas, the lawn tractor races, we have the exhibit of animals, we have the exhibit of vegetables, we have the baking and the handicraft exhibits. And then while all of that is going on, along with Family Day and magicians and things for the kids, and while all that is going on, there are 30, 40 different musical acts happening in the large tent in the old barn called the Trough, and it's just, it's quite the atmosphere for 3.5, 4 days. We've introduced the music festival. The importance is, it's from a musical point of view, it's bringing local musicians together and adding the internationally known musicians to the mix. In talking with those internationally known musicians about the event, they find it very humbling because some of them have played festivals with 100, 1,000 people, and then they come here and they play for maybe 50, 60 in the small barn or whatever. So for them, it's a place where they can be them and not worry about their image so much. Some of these people, the community members, don't necessarily know who they are or care who they are. They just want to hear the music and enjoy it. You look at the numbers and just think a town of 350 people, give or take, and we have 5,000 people on site over the course of 3-4 days spending, and we figured out to be roughly $1 million gets shared and exchanged amongst all the people in the local community. So whether it's the B&Bs, the restaurants, the dépanneurs, just the community members that are being paid to rent out a room in their house or whatever the case may be. So no, it's so important for that, but it's also just important bringing everybody together and being proud of this event that has always been known locally, but now is starting to get more renowned across the coast, across the province. It's a mix, that 50%, that's 25 homecomers and 25% tourists, that's really from across the country and a little bit beyond that, out into the States. There's actually quite a few people that are homecomers that are now in the States coming up for the fair. Whether you're in Gaspé or whether you're in Matapedia and you're English speaker, we have so much that could bring us together. It's just we're lacking the means to get together. So, and I think that's why in the music element, that was something that demonstrates not only the need, but the success of what could happen when you create those opportunities for that gathering, for that sharing.
The Gaspé Spec is a newspaper that covers a number of issues. It was founded in 1975. It was founded because there was no link in the Gaspésian Anglophone community between Gaspé and Matapedia, roughly. People didn't know about one another. It's a vital link for a number of issues, social, economics, community, politics. I can see that. I've been watching this for over 30 years. I was not there at the beginning of the paper, but it's really a vital link as far as establishing a real sense of community. They really needed to work together in that aspect. Economically speaking, it is the same. They need to know what's going on at the other end of the peninsula. Even socially, regarding health services, the protection of services in English. It has been a long-standing fight for the Anglophone community, where they had to work together, and SPEC was providing the news to do that. And even keeping the link between the Anglo-Gaspésians living here and those who are living away. And there are many, many Anglophones living away.
We are a multi-sectorial organization, meaning that we actually provide services to all age groups, health, cultural, arts, starting a little bit more in employment, working with the schools, so a little bit all over the place, and with the mandate of really trying to ensure equitable services to the English-speaking community in our territory. We serve approximately 2,400 Anglophones in our territory, but what we're still seeing is a lot of low education for the Anglophones that are here. So with that, lower income levels. So still more vulnerable. We have an aging population as well. So we have a higher level of Anglophones who are over 65, which presents the obstacle that many of them are unilingual.
The town of Gaspé was hit really hard at the end of the 90s and beginning of the years 2000 because it was depending a lot upon what was going on in Murdochville. And you know, Murdochville lost 660 jobs between 1999 and 2002. But it's not only Murdochville, I mean, it's the villages on the north side of the Gaspé coast and Gaspé, because Gaspé was really depending heavily on that.
We do still have a number of youth who leave the area for schooling, and we all know what can happen. Sometimes you meet somebody, sometimes you just fall in love with the area you're studying in, and you don't come back.
What happened in Gaspé starting in 2000 was people were conscious that they were losing a lot, and they started working together. I saw that. Gaspé is still experiencing that swing, that economic swing, positive swing, and it has its effects. You know, you can still see the effects, and it has become some kind of a habit. And I'm not talking about every Anglophone in Gaspé, but a lot of Anglophones are participating in that swing, you know. And the exchanges in Gaspé, what I see are, I think the communication between two communities is better. More Anglophones coming back in the town or to the town of Gaspé over the years.
Inspired from the boreal forest in Douglastown, and we were able to make something very interesting with the Radun gin, and it worked off, it paid off. We were named Quebec's best gin in the magazine Protégez-vous. We produce 7 different kinds of spirits that we provide to the SAQ and other alcohol commissions around the country and in Europe. So here is where we're going to find where we make our eau de vie, or acérum, or the whiskey. So right now we have 5 employees, not including myself, but during the summertime we're about 10. On average, we'll produce around 60,000 bottles, which supplies the SAQ, does the tastings here, a little bit goes to Europe, and so a big majority of that is, you know, the gin and the liqueurs. So the 3 main products that we produce to the other alcohol commissions is the gin Radun, the amaretto that's called Dartmouth, and our cream liqueur Pudding Stone. The main product of our the Radun is the mushrooms. And so these are hand-picked mushrooms from the company called Gaspésie Sauvage, which is in Douglastown. Yes. We want people to support our business, and so it's just, you know, common sense to support the businesses that are closer or closest to where we are. Also, your environmental footprint on transportation, that's a major factor for us. But also, Gaspésian companies, they produce good products. And so it's not like we're sacrificing something by buying more locally. It's high-class, quality, premium products that we're able to buy here. So we'll put alcohol already in here with water. We'll put juniper berries, coriander seed. Then we close it all up. We bring it to about this level, close it all up. And then in these cylinders, this is where the gin flavors really, really come from. English-speaking people, they'll have bigger opportunities because they're speaking the universal language. Being able to see that view instead of saying that there's less opportunity. Well, we're a minority here, but we are not a minority in the business world. We have our entry point where we take the bottles off of the pallet on the round table and we just pass them through. We're really happy with this product, with this bottling machine, because before this, we were only able to do maybe 500 bottles a day, whereas with the bottling machine, we could do 3,000 bottles a day. I don't feel like the English-speaking people are marginalized because we're English. I just think, because I've met many amazing business people that have made huge impacts in the business world in the Gaspésie who are English, that just work hard and they make the connections that they need to make, and they make sure that there's a plan that they have to attack. And so having your goals, having your purpose, and making sure that you create the environment so those goals and the purpose can flourish.
Gaspésians can improve their overall situation by making some conclusions. You know, you have to, at one point, recognize the problems and you have to express them. And I think it's not done enough here along the coast. Recognizing a problem is part of the solution. It's a step towards finding solutions. And this is not done enough, I think, in the community. Maybe for fear of pressure, of retaliation, of a number of aspects, you know, and we're all human beings, we don't like negativeness, but at one point you have to say what is going on, and you have to go for solutions, and that is not easy, it's even painful.
Say exactly what we're doing. I mean, obviously all of our programs are free, so that would be one way, is that we try to make things accessible. We try to offer activities in the different areas of our territory to help with the transportation issue. And we, again, work with partners to try to look at different services, activities, workshops that we can offer to work on educational levels, job placement. But it's extremely hard for us as a community organization to really get down to the issues with poverty.
To say we're victims of Bill 101, yes and no. I think that was a wake-up call for the whole province that was needed. But the constant picking one right after another, it's tiresome.
Certain members of the English community feel that they're not included, but then you have other elements that reinforce this insular reality instead of giving them tools to participate in the Gaspésian English-French experience and possibilities, that being learning to speak another language, just to be able to interact and participate in day-to-day life that's going on around you, no matter where you live. Yes, we are in Quebec, the majority speak French, learn French, and then you'll be able to live more fully.
In the last 5 years, we've really renewed what we used to do back in the 80s and 90s around culture and around music specifically. So we're really happy to do our cultural showcases that started about 3 years ago in small venues in a number of communities across the coast, which led to a big regional show, and we're doing our 4th edition coming up. We call it Homegrown. And so by celebrating it through our music, through the other arts that we do, the idea is that we create a sense of community, a sense of pride in our community, and that makes our community stronger.
Our museums are closing. Our interpretation sites are closing. We're losing our identity. The history of a community has to remain strong. Otherwise, we forget who we are. And that's one of the things I'm seeing on the coast. People have forgotten their history. They've forgotten, and I'm talking about the English-speaking community, we've forgotten who we are as a people. Like the English, the Irish, the Scottish, the Loyalists, they were all part of the people who built the coast. We're forgetting who they are. We're not talking about it. And the museums were one place that you were able to talk about that. We don't have that anymore.
There is, I think, a leadership problem within the Anglophone community. Finding leadership in a very small community, in a community that is scattered along a huge stretch of coast, remains a challenge, you know, because the links are hard to establish between the little pockets of Anglophones. There is an old guard, I could call it that way, and the next generation maybe was not led to believe that they have they can find their place there, you know. So, and again, I will not give names, but you know, it is a fact. Well, we need a more diversified kind of leadership.
There's a lot more leadership in the community than people give credit for or take credit for. The more we're open and we're talking with each other and people know what's going on, the more leadership there is to create those connections for each other, and the better off we are.
You need leadership, and leadership sometimes you got to shake things up, but you need your sneakers on, not just your slippers. So you got to be proactive, but based on what people need, not your perception of what people need.
One of the challenges of being a leader is to be able to be responsive to the needs of your community, but not to jeopardize the relationships and the approaches that we've put in place to help to make the life better for everybody. So it's often being many things to many people at any time. Oftentimes it means you need to be a better listener than a speaker.
But we need different types of leaders. We need leaders who are strong in economic development. We need leadership in entrepreneurial skills. We need leaders who can work with our youth and make them see possibilities in the coast. We need leaders who can create a vision and who can see what the realities really are, because a lot of people don't want to see the realities for what they are. You know, when you're dealing with with unemployment, when you're dealing with poverty, when you're dealing with education problems, et cetera, the loss of our people, those are real issues, and we have to start looking towards leaders who can kind of say, hey, we got to do more here. We want to stay here. The coast is an amazing place, but we're losing our people. Little by little, they're going away.
Field by field, something can be done, but it has to be recognized first. And that's a problem right now. I don't see like a big recognition movement towards finding improvement in solutions.
Work on the notion of the collective, how to bring them back into the fold, because alone, you know, it's divide and conquer. When you work as a collective, you get more done. Look at a beehive, an anthill, stuff like that. We all have our roles in it, and we all contribute in one way or another.
2, 1, and go!
Collaboration, which I've been saying, to me is key. It's a hard thing to coordinate because we are so spread out, and we are so spread out and isolated in our little pockets that if I had at least one thing to pick, would be somehow to manage better communications and a better networking system from one end of the coast to the other for English speakers.
I would really love to see a mindset of sharing and of helping each other out, and not just in the English community, just in the general community at large, of, hey, if one person succeeds, we all succeed. And so that's just the way I see it, and I think I would love to be able to see that more.
In some ways, I think we've forgotten who we are. We talk about pride, but what does that pride mean, to be proud Gaspésian? What does it really mean? And that's questions that we have to ask ourselves, because to be a proud Gaspésian, it means to say that we have respect for our past, we have respect for today, we have respect for ourselves as Gaspésians, and we have respect as how we show up in our community. So that again is mindset. That again is, because it's just easier to just kind of let things go. It's easier. But if we are proud Gaspésians of the English-speaking community, I think we can do more, and we can change the mindset. Because if you grow up into that kind of, if you're lesser, if you consider yourself lesser because you're a minority, that doesn't work, and it doesn't make a strong community.
the key really is education and returning to the Gaspé coast. Our kids have to go away for cégep. Anglophone children go to the city, Gaspé, whatever. They move from home, and sometimes they don't come back. But if we could give them a solid foundation, if we can prove to them how beautiful it is in the mountains and the trees and the rivers and the beaches, and really ground them to their territory, and then they'll want to come back.
I think the future is bright. You know, I wouldn't be working in this field if I didn't. But as I said, over time we've seen the community become more part of the broader community, play leadership roles in the community, and truly I think that going forward, the English-speaking communities as a strong community are going to play more of a role in the overall Gaspésian experience.
Continue working with our youth to make sure they're aware of us, and that we're able to kind of hang on to them so that they are more likely to continue using our services when they're adults, but also to try to increase their sense of belonging.
I think there's definitely a future for English-speaking communities like Gaspésia, St. Jules. I think there's a lot going on right now in terms of revitalization and young people really taking the lead in their community. And yeah, I absolutely think that there's a future for towns like ours.
I think there is a future. They will be around. The community has to do better to protect them, to take care of them, if they want a community instead of just a set of scattered, not even communities, but like villages and arranged here and there, and you know, back to isolation again.
The next 10 years are going to be crucial in terms of the youth as well as the entire community pivoting towards the future, and not so much forgetting the past. It's very important to remember our past, but it's tapping into those opportunities that are there now. As I see it, there are opportunities.
Are we going to be a forgotten people in the future? Are they going to forget our history, that we were here, that we were the people who worked side by side with everybody else who came from somewhere and landed on the coast and settled here? Are we going to be forgotten? Can't be. Like we can't let that happen. So it's only together, and by having conversations and by dealing with the hard stuff and talking and asking for help where it can be found. We got to remember who we are, and we got to save who we are and this heritage of the English-speaking community on the Gaspé Coast.